Hello, Aries. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. This is your March 2025 forecast. I want to start off first by saying a heartfelt thank you. As you know, for the first week or two, I was sick with bronchitis, sore throat, laryngitis. Anyway, suffice it to say, this took a little longer than usual, but I always make the wait worth it. I'm really feeling great today, so let's get started. As I was meditating on your sign, Aries, what I saw was a beautiful image of a coyote. And if I had to pick a single word to describe it, it would be resilient, possibly followed up by adaptive, or the ability just to kind of be flexible. Whatever might come its way, it is able to thrive. It is an omnivore. It eats whatever's available. It has the ability also to adjust to dangers in population. So if it's being hunted, it tends to amp up by making sure that the litters are bigger. It's almost like this instinctual, intuitive ability to just do what's necessary. The high priestess energy is definitely in this particular totem. So for you, I really want you to trust that you're going to be able to know what to do and when to do it. The trick is listening to that intuition, okay? The other thing with the coyote is it kind of reminds me of the world energy, because it has been able to kind of go from coast to coast here, at least in the US. And I think that you have a great potential right now to have great outreach. So we have resilient energy, intuitive energy, and expansive energy coming forth with this particular symbol. It's been a minute since I've gotten an animal coming through, but for you, that's what I got. And again, I just love how sort of scrappy, bold, resilient, and flexible this is. So these are the traits that are going to help you this month. Let's take a look at the cards and see when and where they're going to be necessary. And especially when it comes to that world or outreach or growth energy, let's see where that might be coming as well. I know many of you like to look at Apollo, and he's right here in the background, listening to every word we're saying, especially since I'm talking about coyotes. But anyway, there is your Apollo moment. Now let's get into the shuffle. All right, please take a moment, if you will, clear your mind of any thoughts that might be there. If it helps, just imagine that you are sitting on the beach. The sun is bright, it's shining overhead, and you're creating a circle in the sand around your body. Imagine that that fills up with light. You're safe, you're protected. And in this protective space, let's call in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. All right. Let's see what's coming through, Aries. Just a reminder, you'll be the first to receive the readings for the next month, so everything works out. I just wanted to kind of add that as well. Interesting. Seriously? Okay. You got a triple card coming through for health. All right, let's get started with your catalyst energy. The card that you received is separation. And again, the catalyst helps you make a necessary move in your life. So for some of you, there is just an encouragement from spirit to let go, to make that leap of faith, cut a cord, separate, move on. Separation could be so many different things. For some of you, you could be leaving an old friendship, like severing a tie there. You could be quitting a job, divorcing someone, or deciding to leave a physical location and move to another. Sometimes these things are, all together. They're not mutually exclusive. So that's when it becomes a little bit more difficult to make it happen. Basically here, it's resistance to change, and it feels like it's already underway. So in this case, just lean into the eventuality of this new this new opportunity, and know that it gets easier with time, okay? There may also be significant challenges in existing relationships just because of the time and space. So if you're trying to coordinate an activity or continue a relationship over several time zones and geographical cities, it could be a little bit challenging. So coordination is going to be important because this doesn't have to be taken as an action or a verb. It could just be a description, like the separation of time and space is making it difficult. So if you are in that sort of situation, do your best to negotiate it, and you both will have to kind of meet in the middle, give and take, okay? Let's go ahead and look at the cards, and I'll periodically go back to that, and we'll see if it's a distance issue or if it's time to let go, because that's basically the two big things that I get with the separation card. I always like to just broadly look at all of the energy on the spread here, and specifically look at like the near and distant future. So you're actually sitting in a good space, almost around the time that you're watching this reading, since it comes a little later in the month. A perspective shift is going to be the necessary thing here. I love what I see here. Creativity, love, growth, some challenges with choices. I'll help you with that, but overall, everything here is pretty good. And again, my eye was drawn to this because you got 3 cards for health. We'll get into that in a second. We got to start with the centermost card, the Page of Pentacles, which also has a perspective sort of energy to it. She's looking through looking beyond even the money or the sort of practical piece, and it's saying, all right, I see that. Is this a means to an end? Like if I'm working here for time, energy, or money, what's this all for? Does it fulfill me? And then also looking beyond this present opportunity. I see strategy, I see recalibration, and also, again, I'm getting the message that there's more than just the money, there's more than just the title, there's more than just the sort of like practical energy of pentacles that's coming forth. So big picture. Go big picture and ask yourself, 1, am I happy? 2, does this help me get to my goal or dream? And 3, what's beyond that? So strategy and seeing beyond is really what I'm getting with this. Don't be afraid to bring up money, for sure. A reversed Page of Pentacles is bold and communicative, particularly when there's not enough. And the word ultimatum comes through as I'm combining these two, because it's separation and lack. So you don't have to state it as an ultimatum, but in your mind, you could think, all right, I'm going to put out here what it is that I need from this person, from this job, from this experience. If I don't receive it, I can look. It could just be permission to yourself. You don't have to kind of like, because an ultimatum can sometimes be threatening to the other person. So it can just be an understanding internally that this is kind of like my best and final, my last offer that I'm putting out there, take it or leave it. And then you can decide to move beyond it, because that's really what she's doing. She's kind of thinking, I can see it, can't they? And if they can't, that speaks volumes. So in a relationship, it could be commitment. Is the other party ready to commit? In a job, it's, are you going to give me the title, pay, advancement, opportunity, etc. that I deserve? In life in general, it's just like, am I getting what I need out of this? And it's so beautifully connected to you this month, because you can't be in two places at once, particularly when it comes to like giving what it needs to allow for the growth to come through. So there's a choice to be made. The choice provides the growth that we see here in this super lush 7 of Pentacles. But the challenge here is, can you get the other party to see what you see? If not, are you willing to make a choice? And once you make the choice, can you do so without regret? So already all the cards are coming together in a beautiful connection. Here's how you can start to get what you need this month. Speak it into existence, or write it into existence. We have an Ace of Swords coming through. It's communication, it's action, it's clarity. And I think that particularly when it comes to communicating a want, need, or desire, keep it simple and keep it clear. That is going to help you be a more effective communicator. Also, and this is really important, if you say you're going to do something, follow through. Only make a commitment or a statement if you're willing to go the distance. That is going to set you up not only to get what you want, but I love that we have a crown here. It's kind of getting you closer to the King of Swords eventually. You'll be sitting and feeling really well about kind of like how you handled this. Weigh your words, use them well, use them wisely, speak up. And definitely we need to get more than a handshake or a verbal agreement. We need to get something in writing, especially if we're talking about what's lacking here, because this is Two of Pentacles is limited resources, Page of Pentacles in reverse is needing more. This is, if you get someone to agree to it, get that signature as well, all right? For everyone else, this is also just a great card associated with beginning new things. So if you want to start a new relationship, a new job, a new project, if you want to write something, all of this is contained within the ace. It is potential, but it does require follow through. So the question with the ace is, are you ready? Because if you are, the universe is ready to work alongside you. Let's take a look at the deep past here. We have Four of Swords energy, but it's reversed. So some of you may be feeling this sense of restlessness, impatience, insomnia, and this feeling like, why can't I just, literally what I'm getting in my head is, why can't I let it go? Because in the traditional illustration, this really is just about putting something to rest. You'll see, I'm going to pull it while we're talking here, but there's a sepulcher, which is a fancy word for like a coffin. And then here it is, very close. So you can see a symbol of rest in peace. And then this is what you get from that, which is that new energy that we talked about. You're putting to rest what? The Three of Swords, the pain, the discomfort, also just something that has been occupying too much space in your mind. So I get that feeling of restlessness. Why can't I let it go? Time, space, and distance helps. That's where also the separation card could come through. Another card in tarot that shows basically you how to get that separation would be the Eight of Cups. Get yourself some distance from something. And in that distance comes what? Clarity. Because sometimes when we're in the throes of something, it's too fresh. We can't understand it. So another thing that you can do to get the clarity, get the peace of mind, is to separate yourself. It's all coming together here. You may just be very busy this month. If everything is going well, the Four of Swords in reverse basically indicates a schedule where there's no time for rest, recalibration, or even just the ability to review what's going on. You have the ability to speak up. You can just say, no, thank you. I know that sometimes we think we can't say no, but you can say no. You can also put it into perspective. You can say, I'm a little bit burned out. I can keep doing this, but it's more likely that I'm going to make a mistake. Why don't I focus on this? Can someone help me with this? And then I can knock this out of the park. That is how you handle it if you're in a work situation. If your boss is not going to listen, then you just say, well, I'm giving you a heads up that this is impractical and it's not sustainable. So there does need to be a point for relief. And I might need to take a vacation in a week or whenever we're done with this or whatever. Put out some boundaries. People respect the boundaries. And if they don't, respect yourself enough to take care of yourself. Because sometimes this is just an arbitrary thing that people put out there. They don't even know why they're saying that they need it by a certain date. So be the voice of reason. And that's why this is here. And it's hard sometimes to push back, but I really do think that's going to help you level up and not get kind of like burdened and burned out, okay? And finally, nothing good comes from exhaustion. My undergraduate was in journalism and English and writing, and basically, if I stayed up too late and tried to do a research paper or a report or something, invariably when I woke up in the morning and proofed it, I'd be like, oh my God, there's grammar errors, there's spelling errors, the sentence doesn't track, it's a mess. I found with myself it was always better just to go to sleep and get up very early the next day. One of the reasons this reading is a little bit later too is just like nothing comes out of sickness that is going to benefit you. I'd rather deliver it later and better than earlier and it's not worth it. So I try to talk the talk and walk the walk. Take a note from me. Sometimes it's better just to delay, okay? Nine of Wands. This is a card of survival. This is very coyote-like, actually. Persistence, resilience, and the ability to play the long game. It's not about who gets there first. It's about who can cross the finish line and still have a little bit more to give, and that is Nine of Wands energy. The Nine of Wands stands up for what they want, but when this card comes through, often there's a little bit of mental fatigue. You might be even experiencing things like from clenching your jaws, some pain here. Maybe there's a pressure headache. Maybe you're having migraine, or you're just having some concentration issues. It affects basically throat, third eye, and crown chakra because that's where the exhaustion sits. It's mostly here though, here and here. So your ability to concentrate and receive, and that's why that Four of Swords energy is saying, I need to step back. I need some rest. You'll be better after the rest, trust me. There could also just be some pushy and persistent people in your life, and just like we see with this person here, you can push right back, and that's what they're doing. It's a little bit of Seven of Wands meets Nine of Wands, because normally this person is just standing with that wand sort of like perfectly straight, but the sort of crossing pose is remembering that you can push back, because that is the lesson of the Seven of Wands, so don't forget that. All right, it's not all going to be spelled out. Part of your role this month is investigator, interrogator, being curious. So if you don't see it, ask. If it doesn't make sense, articulate it, because we want to avoid getting surprised in a way that isn't optimal. There could be a happy surprise coming through, but ultimately, Eight of Swords is saying, this isn't tracking. I need to get some clarity here, okay? It can also be a prison of thought, meaning that you speak enough words of like, I can't do this, it won't happen, this never works, so that it almost creates what you see here with all the swords. Let's pull those away and allow the universe to show up and give you exactly what you need, deserve, and maybe surprise you with more. Let's avoid negative thoughts. Let's avoid restricting thoughts. And if you need another perspective, ask. Get another person's point of view. Because sometimes this is just so closed off or so frustrated that it's difficult to see beyond the emotion of it's not here. The blindfolded cards, particularly Eight of Swords and the Two of Swords, are really about going inward. And in order to rest yourself, to open up the third eye and the crown chakra, you're going to need the rest. So we see a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy and almost like this reciprocated energy here from a lack of sleep. So once you get the sleep, once you push back, then the clarity comes through. And that's why we have the amazing boss card that is the Queen of Wands. She can make things work when no one else can and where no one else can. So when and where, meaning that usually she's in the desert, and despite being in the desert, there's like the sunflower growing, there's this sense of power and growth and limitlessness. So see beyond the sort of can't, won't, never energy that we just talked about. See beyond the environmental sort of limitations and be the one that's willing to either solve the problem or ask and connect, find the connection. I feel like there's someone or somewhere where you can go to get that resource, because there is a lack. This card can represent, like I said, an environmental lack, but this is a card that solves that lack. So you can make it work. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to speak louder. Don't be afraid to explore. Release the fear. Release the can't, never, won't energy from the crown. We don't want that there. Instead, think, how can I? When will I? Where will I? Who can I talk to? Like, ask the right questions and ask around the fear. So when the fear thought comes through, put it into a question form instead. I can't. Why can't I? How can I? All right. This may be a month where a lot of intuitive thoughts are coming forth. It's very fruitful. Act on that intuition. We see the cat at the center. Instinct is coming through yet again. So the coyote was instinct. The cat is instinct. The cat has 9 lives. You may have had some setbacks. We see it here in the Nine of Wands, but sitting on the other side is that 9th life. The Queen of Wands is coming through, showing everyone her strength, her ingenuity, her inventiveness, and her ability to bounce back. You've got all of that this month, Aries. Let's move on to what we talked about at the beginning, the Two of Pentacles. I think this is going to be the biggest challenge. This card reminds you that you can't make everybody happy all of the time. There might be brief windows where you get that universal appeal and applause, But typically, there's always going to be, someone that doesn't agree with you. And if you consistently try to people please across the board, it just stretches you too thin. This is also true of your time, energy, and money. If you try to do it all the time, there's going to be a crack somewhere. It's far better for you to be the one that says, I choose this, this isn't working right now, or this isn't enough, and focus. You can also put something on the back burner or put it to the future, and just basically say, I'll deal with this a little bit later, or how about we approach this next week? And that gives you time to finish one thing and gives you a little bit more time for peace, relaxation, recalibration. So it's about making choices, delegating, and knowing that there are only brief windows where you want to stretch the sort of rubber band that is your health, your time, your resources, your money, because it'll eventually break. You're not at the breaking point yet, but if you try to go and do everything or spend everything or be everywhere, it'll eventually start to show some cracks. So let's speak up this month and really focus on boundaries. So the separation can also be a line that you put in the sand and say, after this time, I'm turning my phone off. I have to take care of my family. I have to get rest. You may be saying, that after this amount of time, I have to move on to the next thing. So it's compartmentalizing, it's boundaries, and these sorts of things allow you to be whole, basically, allow you to have something for you. Leave some time, leave some energy, leave some love for yourself, TLC for yourself. That way you can continue to sustain, because I mentioned earlier, 9 of Wands is about being able to not just get past the finish line, but get to the next event, the thing after that. And for anybody that's run a long distance run, you know that it is about pacing and choices. And sometimes you give a little extra, sometimes you just stay moving. You can't sprint all the time everywhere. So be realistic, all right? Not always easy, but that's why we have this card here, speaking up. What this is basically going to allow you to do is to continue to see growth, recovery, and this beautiful energy here in the 7 of Pentacles. The reversal of this is impatience, because it takes time for the body to recover, the finances to recover, the heart to get over a breakup. It takes time for finances to get to the next level too. So this is about making sure that we're not pushing ourselves to unrealistic levels that we've learned from the past where we've overdone it, because typically this card only comes through after a period of overdoing it. So whatever it was that you did to excess, bring it into focus this month and be kinder to yourself and say no. This is in the environment, so it could just be someone around you that will take as much as you're willing to give. It can be someone that's pushing you beyond a point that's feasible or sustainable. And again, that is why we have articulation in the form of the Ace of Swords. We have boss energy in the form of the Queen of Wands. And then we have the line in the sand, the separation. These things will allow you to thrive and move on to the next energy here, which is King of Cups. So we do have a silver lining coming through. This is a card that is connected to happiness, love, joy, creativity, sensitivity. This is what it's all about this month. More love, more joy, more fun. Put some of that into the mix, into your schedule. If you're not going to do it, who is, right? So make sure that you are happy, fulfilled, and getting something out of this experience. This is a great time to meet someone else. A Pisces could be coming through, could be Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. This is also just about if you do something joyous, like energy attracts like energy, you might find some other people that you just really vibe with. So new friendships, new relationships, and new creative opportunities are coming forth. Now, the other challenging card in this spread is 5 of Cups, but it's a very positive card if you allow it to be. So let's look at it in the upright position. We have something that didn't work out as expected, the 3 cups that are overturned. In the background, we have 2 cups that are upright. There's a choice. Do I focus on could've, should've, would've? That could be the 3. Or the regrets or the frustration over the spilled milk? Or do I focus on what's in front of me, what's available to me, the person that had my back? Because those two cups could be love, friendship, and camaraderie. And I always see the bridge as a bridge over troubled water or troubled times or challenging times. So we're turning it around and we're going to focus on what I mentioned here, the things that are actually starting to show up as positive, as the reason that maybe that situation went the way that it did. I firmly believe, especially with my own life experiences, that rejection or disappointment is often a cosmic hand at work, moving you in a better direction. It isn't fun going through the disappointment or the challenge, but invariably there's a rainbow on the other side of it. So let's focus on the rainbows. And let's do this by taking a look at the expanded forecast. We're going to go into health, wealth, love, and destiny, beginning with the health card, which is your mind, body, and spirit. All right, we have triple the adventure here as we're looking at health. So we have Thanatos, the Starborn, and the Warrior. Let's break it down. All right, let's begin with the first of these cards. Basically, this is a word in Greek that is connected to death, but it's more nuanced. It's kind of like transformation, right? And this is very much connected to what we saw here. So the separation piece is often the first component of death. If you move away, if you lose someone and they transition into spirit, there's that disconnection of the basically that cord that we have with all living beings. And so then in that moment, you have to decide, who am I? How do I ground myself? How am I enough for me? And so I'm getting some of that with this. But I'm also getting the transmuting energy that is comprised within death and rebirth. So like in the Lightseers deck, both energies are present. So that's really what this is about. And you can make what you want out of this transitional period. We see the web here. This can be a point where something new comes into your energy because you're now open. It's like you just set up this new sort of energy of opportunity. And again, when you're ready, that's when the teacher comes through, the love interest, the job opportunity. The synchronicity is just waiting for the internal surrender. And that's what I get with that. We have Starborn underneath this and this beautiful egg. So that is a nice continuation of what we just talked about, death and then rebirth. And Starborn. Of course, we're looking at star energy, but this is also going beyond just sort of like mundane human experience. What's the big purpose? What's the big picture? What's the planetary goal? So we all have our own sort of ego moments, our own desires, the things that society puts upon us and expects us to do. But then there's something inner that kind of like awakens. And I feel like there's this inner awakening that you're kind of aligning to a path, a purpose, or an opportunity. Pay more attention to that this month. That's where you start to get into, as we talked about earlier, this Queen of Wands energy, where she has a can-do sort of attitude. And then fight. Fight for what matters. We have the Warrior coming forth. If we look at this in respect to health, something no longer serves you. It's time to let it go. Something bigger, better, and brighter will come in its place. It's worth the fight. It's worth the experience. And I mentioned, let's focus on the rainbows. Hello. I love it when there's synchronicities. This past weekend, I said, let's look at the retrograde, and the power grid went out where I'm at. And now I said, let's look at rainbows, and we have it here. There's something worth the fight. Whatever you're going through right now, it might be a struggle, a health struggle. It might be a battle for power, money, whatever. Whatever the fight is, it's tough and it's exhausting because we saw the Four of Swords, but it's worth it. All right? Let's quickly look at all the cards with respect to health. We briefly touched on most of these. I'm going to start with the Eight of Swords. Whatever it is that's going on in your life, whatever sort of challenge might be in front of you, it may not be immediately obvious. You may have someone around you that isn't listening to you or looking at you accurately. So this is a great time to get a second point of view. Get a second or third opinion until you feel right, until you feel like I'm being seen and heard. Sometimes people dismiss us because of age, gender, or their own biases. And whatever that experience is, that isn't good enough for you. Their bias could be, causing you unnecessary struggles. So get someone who will see and listen to you, and that's important. Quality and quantity of sleep matter. We don't all need the same amount, but whatever amount we're getting, we shouldn't feel that sense of, I need more or I'm not rested. If that's going on, obviously, then it's time to work with your doctor and take care of yourself. Nine of Wands, like I said, often will show up in the crown chakra, third eye, so you could have a tension headache, a pressure headache. I think a lot of it could just be stress management, but if it's more than that, obviously, again, work with a professional. Eyes and ears, typically Eight of Swords, anytime we have a blindfolded card. But more specifically in this reading, it's about making sure that your doctor listens to you. Just understanding that there's possibly too much going on right now and making a choice that's healthy and best for you. Things are healing, recovering, and going in the right direction. Don't push it. This is especially true if you want to get back into an activity. You have to give your body time to recalibrate if you've had an injury, etc. And then this is just about mental health. So there may be a need to talk to someone to help you see the silver lining, to help you see the rainbow. Okay, let's move on to wealth. We have a card here in wealth that I would normally connect with the Chariot. So we have the horse coming through. Wealth is resources, life purpose, and career. The horse is showing this newfound sense of independence or self-sufficiency. We'll break it down here in just a moment to see where you might want to exercise your boss energy. So Queen of Wands and a very Chariot-like energy. I think this is time to speak up. And if you don't advocate for yourself, who will? That's really what I'm seeing here. Quickly, though, I do see a rebound financially. If you were strapped by time, energy, or money, by speaking up, by creating these boundaries and everything, it does feel like you're on the path to growth and recovery. But it takes some commitment, and you have to stick with it. All right, let's go ahead and break this down into 5 subcategories. We're going to look at the following: those who are currently employed, those who own their own companies, job seekers, students. Got 2 for students, I'll let it be. And then we just put this to the side so I can see it. All right. And then we're going to take a look at retirees last. All right, for those that are currently employed, we have 5 of Swords. This could be somehow contentious when you have a conversation with someone. We talked about the importance of limits, articulating a need or a lack. There may be someone around you that isn't receptive. So, you know, in the Eight of Swords, we have a blindfold. I mentioned when I was looking at health, it's someone that isn't listening. They're in their own reality. So you may have to jump over that person and talk to someone else. We also have here what looks like a mummy, and it's almost like they're sleepwalking. This could be you, this could be someone else. And what happens here is just, whether it's you or someone in the environment, there is just, there's a wake-up call that's happening. And again, it's a question, are you ready and are they ready? We really want to focus on timing and elevating the conversation. Nothing comes of being stubborn and talking to someone who's closed-minded. Nothing comes from letting someone else push your buttons. So we want to avoid those things. This can also represent wounds from the past, because those could also be bandages. And so we don't want to bring basically hurt, anger, or frustration into the conversation. At least not make it the basis of it. You can basically address that some of that stuff is present, but there has to be something relatable and something that is going to create a safe space for the conversation to happen, basically. This can also just be a voice. All the stuff that we talked about, can't, won't, never, we want to pull that out of the vocabulary and focus on the positive. So avoid the inner saboteur, push back on anybody that tries to get under your skin and push your buttons. Just don't allow for that to take place. You might want to just walk away if that conversation is happening. And then if someone's not ready, wait until they are, or talk to someone that is. A lot to kind of unpack with the 5 of Swords, but it's typically fruitless conversation, and we want to go towards fruitful, things that are actually going to be worth your time and energy. Other things that I see here, you may have to take the reins. You may have to be the one that makes change happen. Leadership opportunities are opening up. You're also deserving of that step-up opportunity. Get it in writing, give them the chance. Remember, I said that an ultimatum wouldn't work if you say it. You can think it, and you can prepare for the outcome, but don't threaten. It won't work, and that's why it won't work. We're seeing it there. What you do instead is just find your plan B, and if they don't work out the way you want them to, like if they don't come through, then you have that back pocket option that you can go to. What I do feel good about this month is your ability to lead, to take something that others couldn't do and make it grow, but it does require choices. And again, there may be a lack of interest in, you might have to just show them and apologize later. Say, hey, I did this, it worked. And they're like, well, that's not what I asked for, but I guess thanks because it worked out. Sometimes that's a method. It's not the best, but if you're dealing with this, it might be the only method, okay? I like your perseverance. I like your ability to see things as they truly are and to see the potential. Use your voice. Ignore people that can't listen or hear what you're saying, and try to get this done if you need to. No immediate danger other than these sort of frustrating cards. Know your limits. Don't get burned out, okay? Let's move on to those that own their own company. All right, so we have a Knight of Swords in reverse. Slow down. One of the easiest interpretations. Knight of Swords is fast-paced. A reverse Knight is slowing down and revising, reviewing, and editing. Also realizing that it's kind of like when you drive when you haven't had enough sleep. It's very dangerous. It's as bad as being intoxicated because your reaction times aren't right. You're not seeing things accurately. I think many of you just need to slow down so that you can do it right the first time and communicate it to your clientele, to your customers, to your vendors, whoever it is that you're working with, your employees if you have a larger team, and just say, hey, we need to slow down. We need to focus on quality, not just the quantity, okay? And that can be a wake-up call for you too, because you might be trying to kind of like get an impossible deadline or a project done. Slow and steady. What I do like about the environment is I do see more revenue incoming. I think that you may need help or you may need to look at your price points because this is showing that it's hard to keep up with this current approach. So trimming when necessary, anything that isn't producing, and getting some help if you can. What I love here, though, is people do look up to you and you have a lot of creative ideas coming through. Focus on where the maximum growth can be. Slow down a little bit. And I do think it's time to reward some people in your ranks, just like I was talking about, other people that are due for a raise or something. There might be someone in your own ranks that is ready for that. And you as a boss, it's actually an encouragement to step up. So you might need someone to delegate some tasks to. Overall, it's pretty good. And I like that finances are moving in the right direction, but don't overextend. The Two of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles have a tendency, whether upright or reversed, to overextend. It's better to be conservative. Under promise and over deliver. Slow down. Double check stuff too for accuracy and for quality assurance. All right, moving on to job seekers. I keep getting the Page of Cups for job seekers in reverse, or some sort of court card in cups. What I'm seeing is emotions are running high. I think there could be fear and anxiety over the changing work landscape, things that are going on a world level, on a local level, in your own bank account. So we want to take a deep breath, acknowledge that these things exist, but ask ourselves, kind of like the center card, what do I do next? How can I get past the challenge or the reality of the moment? Also, what is your biggest asset? Are you using that to the maximum? Make sure that you're speaking up and marketing that part of your skill set. Interestingly enough, it does feel like many of you are feeling that sort of itch to just do something on your own. Queen of Wands, King of Cups, and the Horse, aka the Chariot, all coming through saying, maybe I could do this. And I believe so. Once the resources are where they need to be. You either need a partner, that's why we have a Queen and a King, or you need to get a loan, or you need to pay down the bills first. There is a realistic piece that's coming through. I think the finances and the scarcity mentality is coming through. It could be from actual lack or just the fear that it won't go the distance. So if you're starting something new, make sure that the finances are where they need to be. For everyone else, you're probably just saying, Nicholas, I want to know if I can find something. The Ace is a yes. What I see here is that it's probably not advertised or not obvious, or you're not looking at it right now. So there's an encouragement here to talk to other people around you. It could come from a friend or family member, and look again or look in a different place. Change up the methodology and how you're looking for stuff. You might have to travel. You might have to weigh out the travel and the time and energy requirements. There could be overtime. It looks like financially it will pan out, but you have to sort of figure out if giving up that time is worth it, worth the trade-off. And that's what I'm seeing here. Okay, let's move on. Students, you got 2 cards. All right, so we have a card of success, the Six of Wands, and we have a card of creativity, the Knight of Cups. So this is good, actually. Six of Wands is basically showing me you're in the right direction, but there may be too much pressure. All those hands reaching towards you or pushing you down a path. Whether it's your high school advisor, college advisor, teacher, friend, you, whoever it is that's pressuring you to do something, tune in and think to yourself, does it feel right? Is it what my heart desires? Desire needs to win out here. There needs to be joy, fulfillment, happiness, playfulness with whatever it is that you're going to do, because you'll be doing it for a while. So make sure that the heart is where it needs to be. And you'll be fine, whatever you set your mind to. I like to remind people with the success card that it's subjective. So define it however you will. I just see that you've got what it takes, okay? Looking at the cards here, don't overextend yourself in the current or the next semester. Really pay attention to not just your schedule, but your budget, because both of these could get overextended. I love the partnerships that you're making right now. It feels like you need a little bit of validation or guidance. Talk to your guidance counselor, to your mentor, to your professor, to your dean, whoever it is. It feels like a mentorship is kind of coming through on the cards here. And just slow down a little bit. Sleep is necessary. Coming from someone who, graduated a semester early 2 times in a row in both my graduate and undergraduate, I understand what it means to push yourself. I had a rhyme and a reason both times, but I also think I might have changed things. That was a year of my life that I gained. I was able to work faster because of it, and I saved a year of, having to pay bills. But also, that was a year of additional learning and experiences that I could have had too. So weigh it out. Weigh it out and make sure that you're not pressuring yourself unnecessarily. All right, finally, as we look at those that are retired, it's a deserving card for you. This is wish fulfillment, fun, heightened emotions, sometimes really, really happy, sometimes really, really frustrated, but ultimately it's a joyous card, and it's reminding you to do things that bring about that sense of joy, irreverence, childlike energy, fun. This is your moment. Don't get overwhelmed, though. You can see behind all the cups, it's hard to see the person. So there is also a message here to meditate and not lose yourself in yourself or other people's emotional landscapes. Take time, ground yourself, see things for what they are, and sleep on it. Major decisions this month and major feelings, like see if you feel the same tomorrow, see if you feel the same next week or next month. Then and only then should you start to give it a little bit more of your attention. Speaking of attention, let's look at love. We have one of my favorite archangels coming through here, Uriel. Very interesting that we have a teaching card. So Uriel is about a learning experience. Take time to review, to study, and to hone your knowledge before proceeding further. So there's karmic energy at play in relationships. As I pull each of these cards, we'll see what the karmic message is, and then I'll go into the spread as well. All right, so I do 3 categories here. I'm going to look at those who are partnered in a relationship, really good card for you. Then we're going to look at those that are looking for love, and then single and happy. Okay, let's begin with those that are currently in a relationship. It's a good card. The karmic message here is friends first, and friendship and fidelity at the core of things. What gets lost sometimes in the equation is you're hopefully with your best friend, right? And better together, right? So looking at the positives, focusing on the friendship, the relationship, the core commitment. That's where the lesson is this month. Whatever challenges might be coming through, it feels like you started in a good space. If you can get back to that good space, great. The 4 of Wands is about setting the stage, creating spaces in your life where the 2 of you can thrive and where you have each other's backs. The 4 of Wands in a reverse position could be missing the partner, wanting the validation, needing more of that time with them. Sometimes just needing to recommit and say the words, I love you, I appreciate you, thank you. Those magical words can do a lot for the other person. They have to be heartfelt, they have to be at the right time and in the right tone, but putting them into rotation could be a good thing. Let's look at the cards here now and see what else is coming forth. I mentioned this before. So if you're in a really good space, and typically the 4 of Wands is, this separation card could be a separation of distance, right? could be different time zones. It's hard. Even I have friends that are overseas in Europe and beyond, like even just on the other side of the US. And when you go to 4 or 8 or beyond that, hours ahead or hours behind, it gets challenging to figure out when can we talk again? We make it work, but it's harder. So just try to go the distance if you can, literally and figuratively. Aside from that, there could have also been an estrangement in the past. It does read as past, but it requires time to heal those wounds. So that's where some of the insecurities could come out. The partner or you needs to have more validation. 8 of Swords, not feeling seen or heard. One or both of you are very busy at the moment here with 9 of Wands, 7 of Pentacles, 2 of Pentacles. There's a lot going on, making time for each other. I like that the passion is here because the Queen of Wands is passion. The King of Cups is kindness and passion and compassion. So let's keep that energy and use communication to help. I see you, I value you, thank you. I need this, I appreciate this. Using those words, using the love language that your partner has, it's going to be really important. There may be some challenges this month. They may be out of your control. This is where you have each other's backs, hopefully. I actually think it's a pretty good month. It's just about being pulled in too many directions. You got to make sure that you have time for each other. Date night, together time, and communicating value and worth. Those are the big takeaways. All right, if you're looking for love, interestingly enough, I get that there might be other things at play. The Wheel of Fortune in reverse is asking you to focus on what you value in your life and how you're spending your time and energy. You might be able to find more time for love by kind of like getting those scales into balance. You may have too much going on with work, school, or personal healing and development to be able to devote to relationships. And you got to get that into balance first. Clean up the finances too, because that will help you have more independence when it comes to new partnership. Now, you might meet someone at school, at work, or in an extracurricular activity. So do what you need to do and trust that the synchronicity will happen. I see 2 potential partners here, fire or water. And what I see with the 2 different partners, something unexpected. The Queen of Wands doesn't look like she's looking for love, but she finds it nonetheless. So you might have someone who is just happy with dating you. I don't necessarily get that they're looking for a family or for marriage. It's just like, I really like you where we're at. There's passion there. The King of Cups, he's busy. There's a lot going on with him. There may be more openness there for more, but for both of these cards, it feels like in the moment, are you truly available and ready? Because what I'm getting with this spread is more rest, more self-care, more focus on finances and time and energy. Get that all balanced out first. Then you have a lot of options. You've got to figure out what you want. When I get multiple options like that, that's really what I'm seeing there, okay? And there might be someone from the past that you need to kind of completely sever ties with. You might be bringing in someone who's recently separated. We want to make sure that you sort out what you're looking for first. All right, finally, single and happy. We have the King of Swords in reverse, feeling the sense of being outspoken, being able to really take action. The interesting thing for you this month is I see it's almost like tripling of opportunities or money. There's a lot coming through here, but you have to, speaking up and taking advantage of things when they come through. Opportunities is what I'm talking about. So when that window of opportunity presents itself, go for it. The only challenge this month is health and well-being. This can be sadness, depression, or mental health. This can be working yourself to exhaustion. So let's avoid that and speak up. People are ready and willing to listen to you. There could be speaking engagements, teaching engagements, or mentorship opportunities. All right, destiny. It's one of my favorite symbols that came through. We have the hummingbird. It's in reverse. It's a fast-moving card, just like the Knight of Swords. When it's reversed, it's saying slow down, sip in, drink in, it basically enjoy the moment a little bit. My personal connection to hummingbirds is whenever I'm in a moment where I'm just feeling a little uncertain, a little bit uncomfortable, the universe will come in with a hummingbird in real life and just, it's sort of like raise your frequency. Think about what's possible. Don't worry so much. And that's kind of what I'm getting for you too. But drinking in the moment, sweetening the experience because they love their nectar, things are going to be okay. And it is a card of abundance because they are pollinators. So it kind of is taking this Seven of Pentacles and bringing it all the way to the 10. So it feels like whatever your challenge is, you're going to land on your feet. You're going to be okay. Just rest. Just work with people that see and appreciate you, and don't overextend, okay? Let's take a look at one final card. This can be anything that you still have that you need guidance on that I haven't already answered. I'm going to shuffle the cards and see the answer to that final question. For your final question, we have the Eight of Pentacles. Fantastic. So, to a yes or no, it's a yes. It's basically a caveat with this, which is it requires commitment and work. So yes, as long as you're willing to put in the work. This is an apprenticeship card, so it's a great time to learn something new. This is a card that shows return on energetic investment. So again, when the commitment is there, the payoff is there as well. And when we're looking at money and opportunities, this is good work. So I feel like you're really headed into a good direction with this. So it's a yes. Do the work, put in 110%, you'll get it back. And it's a great time to learn, to partner, or to create. That's a lovely way to end this reading. Thank you, Aries. I hope it was worth it. This was a lot of fun to read. You got a lot of extra cards that came through, especially when it came to health. I hope all of this resonates. And as I said earlier, I'm going to start off the next series of readings with your sign. So you're going to get 2 back-to-back, which is going to give you more than enough. So thank you. If you enjoyed any part of this, do me a favor, new subscribers, or new watchers, I should say, please subscribe. Everybody, if you liked it, thumbs up, it helps. Opt into notifications as well. You can also give me a follow across other social media platforms so you never miss a video, and you also get news and information. Full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on most platforms. On Blue Sky, it's nicholasashbaugh.com. That's a great place to go for news and information. If you want to give back a little bit extra, a great way to allow me to do extra videos like podcasts or anything that's out of the regular daily, weekly, monthly sort of collection is through Super Stickers, Super Chat, Super Thanks, membership. All of these things I put right back, and I think you guys can see that. I either get equipment or I do extra videos. So thank you for your support. To that end, I think we covered just about everything. So I'd like to say thanks. Thanks for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. Stay safe when it comes to people that might pretend to be me. Remember, I don't currently give any sort of private readings, nor do I use direct messages. So be smart and stay safe. And I think Apollo's behind us. Yes, he is. Why don't I give him a little pat on the back, and then we'll wrap up for today. Hey, buddy. Who's a good boy? Yes. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Wishing you all the best. Now and always, take care. Bye-bye.